Okay, want to say hi to you guys. Uh, just woke up. Just woke up. See, my eyes are puffy. So I'm gonna put these dark uh, glasses on. Okay, it's a motorcycle glasses, and I use it to ride motorcycles. But I'm gonna put on because my eyes are puffy and watering. It's watering, so the lights are shiny into my eye. It's kind of sensitive. So I'm gonna put these on, okay? How's that look? As you guys see behind me, it's always sitting there. A lot of time I have three channels, so sometimes I'm sitting on the same spot, even though sometimes I wear the same uniforms, same clothing, and it looks a little different. It looks kind of the same, but same setting, same person, and it's like, but different stories that I tell. Okay, and anyway, it's a different things, different contents in different channels. So I I always want to do multiple things in the channel. So then, if I only have one channel, it it's kind of mixed up. So because YouTube has this system that if you do certain thing and then you are categorized as a group, and then your video kind of appear to a group, right? So I have this channel that I do like people, people video people blogging, and that channel they usually YouTube usually make it appear to that kind of category. So my other channel it's more like I travel to places and in things that I do like go fishing, cooking, go to a place. Like last time, let's say back in June last year, I went to Portland, Maine, just to try out the lobsters. The As you see in social media, a lot of YouTubers travel to Maine, right, promoting that Portland, Maine a lot. So I decided to go there and try it out and visit the place, the city of Portland. So in when I did that channel for and the contents I put in there, it related to the that kind of things. So then most YouTube categorize that as travel, food, uh, places. So you cannot. It's hard to do all this together in one channel. I would love to do just one channel. That way I can spend like time and use the same setting or whatever, same clothing, same outfit, whatever that is. And so that's why it was very hard in the first time. Queen Stones, hi, yes, say hi to you, brother, or friend. Uh, Good morning to you. This is Midwest time, Central time, Midwest. I am located in the Midwest, north, very northern part of the USA. This is America, Minnesota, America. Okay, we're so close to the Canada. With the state after this, it's Canada. And so anyway, that is why I have three channels. So this channel here, Black Panther and the Princess. Yeah, I named it that way because it's more like I'm telling stories. Okay, it could be scary stories, events that happen, nightmares, anything, dreams. Uh, More like Freddy Krueger type. And I do videos and I tell stories. So today, how's everybody doing? Is this tariff war going on? Making life harder, you guys? I found kind of hard. Everything's so expensive, and I kind of cut down my shopping, my eating out. Dine out. Every time this year, I already start to travel to places. Like my motorcycle yet, I already tune up and ready to ride sometimes. Like in the beginning of May or so. Like today or tomorrow, the weather it's already like in the 60s. I mean, mid 50s and 60s, and it's already perfect timing to go to Lake Superior and go scouting. Scouting at night, kind of like smelt scouting, like those little fish. I sometimes, every other year or so, I would travel there and in the springtime, like early spring, like the middle of April, to net smelts out of the superior shore. You know, some co-workers saying that the smells already up. Okay, you guys, if you are in Wisconsin or in Minnesota, uh, what is it? The smell already out. They went to Wisconsin side the other day. The weather was kind of cold, but they caught a few, like 10 or 20 smelts. So that means the smelts are already out in the beach looking for perfect spot to spawn this season. Okay. So anyway, storytelling on this channel mostly. Okay. Today I'm going to talk about uh, bad spirit over you. Uh, so I am a Christian, right? Converted to Christian 20 since I entered the United States. I have met with the Jehovah Witness a lot, and they already. I was an orphan when I entered the United States. I came because my parents were vanished in the Vietnam conflict, the secret war of Laos. The CIA secret war like Air America. The transporting of opium. You know, opiums, cocaines out of Laos. So when I say this, you guys probably understood or understand that the secret war in Laos was all about drug, illegals, drugs, uh, out of Laos, opiums in the mountains. The region that I came from was the environment was perfect for growing poppies. Opium poppies. Those little those, and then it's good for medicines. So just like the Afghanistan, they grow poppies for drugs, addiction. A lot of people use them as uh, relaxation, smoke them as substance that relax the body, and kind of like that. But once you become addicted to it, then it ruins your whole life. So for America to get that out of Laos back in the days in the 40s, 50s, 60s, it's just for making medicines for like uh for people that it's a pain medication that you use or drugs that you use to cure cancer, things like that. Okay. So when I came to the US in 1986, met a lot of Jehovah Witnesses. They're funny, right? You're a little kid, you just a young teenager, and you're walking on the street, and they approach you, and they're like, so they tell you about Jesus Christ, the Savior, and then they're from Jehovah Witness, and they do you want to convert? They just tell you a little bit like that, and you don't know, you're a little kid, like young teenagers, so they just take you to your house and they talk to you and then baptize you. They baptize you in your home in the shower. You know, this this happened to me when I was in Cali. Used to live in like St. Bruno, California, Fresno, California, and there was a lot of the perfect weather, places, or state. And there was people walking on the street most of the time in the middle of the night. And then Jehovah Witnesses would come and kind of kidnap you, without authorization or confirmation from your your parents, your family, and elders, whatever you're under control with. And they just tell you, and you want to do you believe it? You want to accept Jesus Christ? Yes. And they tell you a little bit about it, and then they take you to the shower and baptize you. And they took a little passage and just baptize you like that. So I was baptized when I came to the U.S. And my English was kind of zero at the time. So whenever they say, yeah, 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 because you're a little kid, you're hungry, you're yearning for like things. So they came around. Sometimes they give you candies, and they give you like toys, and they give you like clothes. Uh, they give you like Michael Jackson uniforms, thrillers. It's funny how they convert you. They tell you, but then they they give you like Michael Jackson's uniform, thriller kind of jacket, whatever, pants. But anyway, that was in California. But I moved to the Midwest in the 90s, right about 91. And when I came up here, then I was in Athens, believe in nothing, just roaming the land, roaming the country, belongs to nowhere, free spirit, living like there's no tomorrow, and you will never be aged or never be old, and like you will be young forever. Those are the time. And 98, when I got married, uh, I converted back to Christian because my wife came from a Christian family. And as I married, I had children that they need guidance, they need discipline, they uh, need to belong to certain place to keep them out of trouble, and I needed some good advice and honesty and implant that into them when they're little kids. So uh, yeah. So I'm among I am among like the Mongols. Our ancestry began like back in China in the Mongols territory. So most of our parents, great grandparents were settled in the Yellow River Basin, that area. That's why when we go to like folk stories or like legendary stories were told to us by our parents, grandparents, great grandparents that we came from the land of uh, coldness. Like it tell us that we were, animal furs. We the weather was so cold and it's so grassy. We had no trees. Okay, we had no trees. All we had is grass, and we were animal clothes. We travel every other every other month. We kind of nomadic life. We live in nomadic life. So it was our ancestors. Uh, we did not have Jesus Christ. We do not know much about the Christian world, right? But we did believe in God. You know, we call it the guy above heaven and earth. There's a guy in heaven, and here we are on earth. So majority of the Hmong people that are immigrated to Southeast Asia, they're actually they are East Asians. Okay, the Hmong people are not. They were not Southeast Asian until the 1920s, 1919. Like I said before, the Civil War in China, because the British causing the British brought the Opium War into China, and the Opium War caused a disaster in China, and the government of China taxed so high that the peasants that live in the countryside could not afford it, so they rebelled against the Qing dynasty, the government of China back in the day in 1898, right? And then that caused a lot of issue when the people just immigrant, migrated out of China. So the Hmong people actually live in the Yunnan province in southern China, border to Vietnam, Laos. So they just move over to the other side. And 19, 1900s, exactly, 1898, 1900s, we start settling in northern Laos, the Highlanders, Vietnam, the Highlanders, as you guys know, in Dien Bien Phu, those area. Okay, Dien Bien Phu was just what the French had their super battle military base, and the Vietnamese, Ho Chi Minh, they dug a tunnel under the base, and they set explosion dynamite under, and then blew out the French base. That's how the battle ended in Dien Bien Phu, right? So the Hmong people in the when they're back in China and migrated to Laos, pretty much they're like practicing shamanism. So we're like the American Indians, right? We believe in spirits, reincarnation. Say you die, your spirit will go, and then a person will die, and then they have this funeral service, and then after you took the person to the grave, dig a hole, put the coffin in and burial. Then 13 days after that, they had to do another ceremony to release the spirit and then the spirit can go and to another life, another form, like another human, become another kid in a different dimension in life. So that's what spiritual is. Compared to like Buddhism, you have spirits in your body, like four spirits. One that guards your body into the ground until the day, the judgment day, you rise from that. So pretty much like Christian, you die, your spirit goes to live in heaven, but then your body is still here, until Revelation, when Jesus comes back, then you will rise, your body will rise from the grave, and then you'll go to be with Jesus Christ in another planet, right? Kind of like that. For 1,000 years, the judgment day will be set in another 1,000 years, you know? So the Hmong people are more like spiritual. They practice like shamanism. Like the American Indians, the Eskimo, the reindeer people, the people of Mongolia, and the people in northeastern China, like back in the Siberia area, and then our people, Hmong people, we practice almost the same thing, shaman. In shamanism, you know, okay, so you guys, as a believer, a Christian, the follower of Jesus, right? Remember when Moses brought God's people out of Egypt into the promised land? Along the way, they came to the Sinai mountain, 40 years of trouble to Israel. Uh, there in the Old Testament, those people, they believe in God, but not in Jesus Christ. So in the story, what happened when a person gets sick, right? So the Aaron family, Aaron is like the oldest brother of the 12 brothers, right? The Israelites, 12 brothers. Like the uh so God told Moses to set the older brothers family. They are priests. They're supposed to be the shaman, the priest. And when one of these people that got sick, they will go to meet with the priest, and then you'll bring an animal like the firstborn, a sheep, and then a little baby lamb. You take him to the spirit, right? And then you're sick. You take that, your family, whatever, take you along and go to the priest, and the priest will communicate to the Lord that you need to be healed or whatever sickness you have, and then you sacrifice the lamb, the animal on the altar, right? Set that to the altar and burn essence, and then ask God to cure your pain. Okay, that's kind of like a little segment in the Bible. Moses brought the people out of Egypt to Israel, the promised land. So that's the same way as how Hmong people, shaman, will practice shamanism. So in the old culture where Hmong people from like the mountain of Laos, they will, a person gets sick, you call a shaman. The shaman can communicate between the human world and through the other side in other dimensions. And it always say that whenever a person gets sick, your spirits were marked or were taken away, and they try to get you to the other side, and that's why you got sick. And to do that, the bad spirit will come over you and take over your your body and took your spirit, and you will get ill, and then you'll die. Very sick, and you die. It doesn't matter how you got sick, and you need to uh, work with a shaman to come to your house. Look in the uh, look at the sick person and then determine what to fix. And sometimes you have to use a pig, a goat, uh, a cow, an ox, a cow's an ox to to sacrifice that for the bad spirit, replacing and to bring back your whatever the sick person's spirit back to his body or her body or his or her body so they can survive. So actually, like you paying the devils, the bad spirit, whatever that dimension, to come and bring that. And you pay them, and don't take out. The shaman will like negotiate, like it's a salesperson, like it's like a realtor working between the buyer and the seller, like a realtor. So a shaman is like a realtor. And so the Hmong people in the mountain Laos, back all the way back centuries ago, mainly like 5,000 years ago, they're shaman until 1950s, 1940, when the Catholic priests from Europe, from France, uh, they came to Indochina, tried to colonize in Southeast Asia, and then the Catholic priests who came, they came over there and then start preaching the Bibles, not a foreign. It's we call it the foreign religion. Like to the local over there, the villages, the people in the mountains, the highlands, they know nothing about the Bible, the stories from the Bibles. uh, Comparison, we do have a legendary folk tale about the flood in the world, and then everybody died, and then there's a brother and sister. They sat in this boat, and then it floated to heaven. And then when God was tired, God was sleeping, and then God forgot, and the little boat, the boat hitting the heaven, and then God wake up. Oh God, I was sleepy and I forgot to shut off the water. So now the whole basement is full of water because we have a broken pipe, and all the people in the earth die, right? And there's only two survivors, and it's just a brother and sister. So God made the water clear, and these everybody die, and there's just these two brother sister that is alive. So they're prohibited to you know having a family to become a husband and wife. So then they will God, they go ask God, say, all the people has died. Now what are we gonna do? And God told them, you go, and then you go to the hill, right up in the hill, and there's two rocks, two round piece of rock, and you roll that down the hill, and both of you push that two pieces, roll down the hill, and up after that you go down there and see the two pieces of rock will come on top of each other. If they do, then you become husband and wife. If they don't, then that's it. You both go each other's way, and you get old and die, and that's the last of humankind. So they do that, and the man runs faster than the girl, so they both roll down these rocks, down the hill, and the brother ran down there. And when he got there, it wasn't on top of each other. And then quickly he picked up the other one and sat on top of the others. So then when the sister runs down there, got there, the piece of rocks would on top of each other. And then the brother say, see, this is what God said. Now we husband and wife. We can start a family. And then later on they had a baby, had no head, no toes, no legs, no arms. But it looked just like a a big, huge pumpkin, right? And they went to God and said, oh God, what's going on here? This baby has no head, no toe, no legs, no eye, no but it's talking to us. And God said, you go back and you chop the little baby to pieces and you throw this piece under the tree and it will be a family and then you call it Lee, the Lee family. Okay? And uh you will throw this other piece into the house and it will be a family and then you'll call them the Lord. Okay? So they came and they cut the baby to pieces and threw everything to the 18, originally it's a 12 branches, 12 areas. And then the next morning they wake up and there's 12 families rising up. So in our culture, the Hmong people, we also had 12 brothers, 12 families. Just like the Israelites, they have 12 brothers, part of the Abraham branch, the son, the 12 son of Isaac, right? The 12 brothers, sons of Isaac. Abraham's grandson, Isaac, Jacob, Isaac, and then Isaac has 12 sons, and then branch as the Israelites when they came to the promised land, right? So in the Hmong people, they had these kind of folk tales, stories, but not in writing, but we'll tell generation after generation after generation. We're told by our ancestors, this is who we are. So when you look at it, yeah, we branched out of the Bible thousands of years ago, 5,000 years. Just civilization, 5,000 years, 3,000 years. It was just like part of the stories of the Bible. But we had no writing, so we lost a lot of things in there. Anyway, guys, so shamanism, spiritually, almost like that. And as far as I know, the American Indians, they believe in spiritual, but they practice shaman. When a person gets sick, they call a shaman. The Eskimo, the same way. The reindeer people in the North Pole, they do the same way. The people in the Mongolia, same way. And Hmong people, which is Mongols, it's the same way. And the people in Eastern China or Far Eastern or Siberia practice the same shaman. Okay. When a person gets sick, you heal it the same way. All right, so Black spirit. And whenever a person gets sick, it is always because your soul was marked it. It was taken by the back spirit. You go into the other side. Okay. So anyway, sometimes you're born into a family and then you always cursed by this spirit. And you'll have nightmares like Freddy Krueger, Elm Street. You wake up every day, every night, you go to sleep, you got nightmares. And then you got bad spirit in your house. And you couldn't sleep because you got nightmares. So now, I want to tell you a story about my experience with the bad spirits, okay? So I came to America in 1986. I was just 13, young teenagers, and we landed in California. Clovis, California, right? We lived there for a while, like a year, and then I was assigned to this uh, foster home. Okay, I live with this uncle, this foster as a foster kids. So me and my brother were living with this uncle, and he worked in the farm equipment. It's 2 hours south of Fresno, California, and it's way in the farms, farming, zone. So there's nobody there except a couple little houses in the middle of nowhere. When you get outside, you will see everything to the distance, like in the horizon, with no houses, just farm, wheat, cantaloupe, and watermelon farms. And being that there's a factory, there's a company that had the equipments like tractors, uh, bulldozers, a lot of heavy duty farm equipment. So this uncle, he worked in that place, and they had community like houses that provided for the family for free housing. So he we end up living with him, and we're living out in the country, in the middle of nowhere. And they had this house provided. So this house has 4 bedrooms, right? And my brother sleep in a room. I sleep in the room. Then my uncle sleep in a different room. Then we have an extra room. So at the time, I was just we came in '86. I was like 13. We live in Clovis, California for a year. So I turned 14, and then we moved out there. I was a year later. I turned 15. So at 15, we're living this foster home, this foster house in the middle of nowhere in California, and it's kind of like boring, very boring place. And so I sleep in this room. My brother sleep the next room. So, my brother always had this spirit that always come over him. And I remember he had nightmares. Sometimes he wake up with sweating, and I said, "What happened?" Sometimes I asked, and he said, "I had nightmare." And he didn't tell me what a nightmare. He just said that something always coming over me when I go to sleep. But at the time, I was 15, 16, 17. I had no issue. I never had any problem with that kind of spirit over me. And I asked him, what kind of spirit that will come over you? And he said, like, every time I close my eye during the daytime, even though when I fall asleep or when I go to bed, and as soon as I close my eye, I see a man, not a man, but like a person. You'll never see his face. It's just dark, like a person dressing in this black clothes. You never really see his face or her face, the spirit. And it's crawled out the window. They come over me, and they just start messing around with me, choking me, poking me in the eye, making me, strangling, uncomfortable. I couldn't. Then I was caught, and then I was calling for help, and nobody's there. And then when I wake up, sweating, and I was like, "Come on, man, you're lying, bro." Right? He said, "No, I am lying to you, bro. This is seriously." So, guys know in like 80, 88, 89, that was really famous for Freddy Krueger, right? The TV show called Nightmares in Elm Street. So I was like, maybe he was watching too much of that show, and then he started having nightmares. Because we're brothers, and he never had that before until we got to the house, right? And then he got that bad spirit over him. So we lived there until when I was in junior high school, and then he became a senior. And when he was done with high school, he moved out of the house into the city, and he moved to the East Coast, like Pennsylvania, for his job. He was job hunting, and then they said that going to the East Coast, there's a lot of job in Pennsylvania, so he moved there, and he was gone. And then the uncle that we live with, brought his wife and 4 kids from another place to live with us out of the city. So now I had to move and sleep in my brother's room, right? Because they're taking over my room and the other room, because my room was the bigger room. So now that uncle had to, he and his wife was sleeping, you know, the other room, but the bigger room was for the two, because he had three daughters. So that big room I was sleeping with, it's for the 3 daughters to sleep over there. And then with the room that my brother was sleeping, I was taking over. So the extra room, he had a son, so a young boy, like a 9-year-old boy. So that boy was sleeping in that room. So now I went over and sleep in my brother's room. And guess what? That first night, yeah, you got that right. I know what you're thinking. That thing came out of the window, came over me, start choking me, poking me in the eye, punching me, and like a person's playing you in your sleep, and then you calling for help, you twist, you turn, you fight, you do all these things, you and then you wake up sweating, and then you're like in the middle of the night, like what the f, and then you scared. So at the time, I was just having sporadic, sporadically nightmares. It wasn't like every night. And then at the time, I was already 17, right? So I endured that torture from that back spirit in that room, here and there, not every day, but you know, for that whole year. And I turned 18. I no longer, want to live there. So I moved out. And when I went, where did I go? I packed my shit, packed my belonging, sat on my little truck. I had a 1986 lowrider on uh, Nissan, pickup with a big, with a camper and nice bed in the back, and 5 speed, nice little truck. And I hit the road, guys. 18 alive, ski road. Turn on that fucking song, 18 alive, and hit the road. Because you're orphan. You have no family. You gotta go somewhere. You're 18. The law no longer required the foster to take care of you. Man, and I hit the road, guy. That was a sad time. Every time I'm talking about I tears in my eye. That's why I got these glasses on, guys. Hit the road with $300 in my pocket. That little truck, nothing else. Couple set of clothing. Packed my backpack, hit in the road. Obtained my social security card from that foster family, the uncle, and I hit north. Hit 41. I took 99 north. Then I hit 19 Highway 80. Then I hit Montana, and then I then I hit Nevada, then I hit Utah, then I hit Wyoming, then I hit Nebraska, then I hit Iowa, then I hit Minnesota. And I moved up here in 1989, 1990, middle of 1991, 1991. So I came up here, found a job, came here, stayed with some relatives for a couple months, found a job, and started working and moved out to my own apartment. Then I met my wife. We got married, and when I moved away, that spirit was gone. But when I got married, and me and my wife moved to this apartment in St. Paul, Minnesota, and that shit started coming back to me. The nightmares, the spirit, and because at the time, like I said, I was converted by these Jehovah Witness illegally took an underage teenage boy and took without their uh, authorization from their parents, without any you know uh, confirmations. They just took this boy and baptized him, converted into a believer in the foreign religions, the Christian. To us it was the same way in the old days. But when I came to Minnesota, met with my relatives, I became shaman. I'm doing all this shaman stuff. So when I got married to my wife, she was a Christian already. Then I converted her back to my shamanism, right? And we moved to this apartment as a shaman, practicing shaman. Had an altar in the apartment, a little altar, asking, praying for that ancestor family. You know, in our culture, Hmong culture, we worship. Whatever problem we have, sickness, whatever, we're asking for our great grandparents, our ancestors, to the spirit to come and bless us. If a lot of people misunderstood that and they think that we worship the devils. Not really. We're afraid of the devils. The devils. When a person dies, we always, "Eh, da zu nyong xie pei xie qi zhong, eh, ga ne la wa ma wan jia do ku, tu mi tu e nu nie tua." Yeah. So you're mourning, you ever go to a monk funeral, the shaman family, and their relative will come to the coffin and they'll cry, right? They're moaning like this, and they're cursing the devil, Satan. You are a bad man. You're the devil. You come and you took my son. You took my daughter. You took whatever my father's. Now we are fatherless. We had no father. We had no protection. You are Danzunyong. You are the bad. You're not good, right? So the Hmong people, they don't worship the devils. Whatever shaman they do or spiritual, they have a little altar in the house. They just worship for their ancestor family, like their father, great grandfather, the one that passed away, but they know the spirit's still around, and they're asking that spirit to bless them for rich, for poor, for sickness, for health, for whatever in their life, for peace, for you know. So I got married. We moved together. We were still practicing that shaman, but that devil spirit, always come over me. Sometimes I would sit in the couch watching TV and I fall asleep. My wife would be sitting next to me, whatever. But she'd be cooking in the kitchen. Then I fall asleep. Then as soon as I got so tired, and this thing come out of the window. The apartment, we used to have a big window, right? Sliding door, and you go to the patio. Or sometimes you walk through the patio, and then this big shadow just come over and on top of me, and it would be choking me. playing with me, punch me, and then I'll be like twisted, turning in the dream in there. But out here, my body is just sitting still. And then when I wake up, I in there I know that my wife's right there. I can hear she's cooking or she's there and watching TV, and then I like help, 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 right? And goddamn, help me, my wifey, help me, whatever her name is. And then nothing, nobody, she didn't help me. And then after so long, you become sweating and you're tired, you just can't fight anymore, and then the spirit gets up, then back to the window and get out. And then you wake up, right? Sometimes you fought and fought and you fought, and then you beat that spirit, and then you wake up. Sometimes you just give up, so tired, that spirit give up, just walk away. And then wake up, you're like angry. You're like screaming to your wife, "Why didn't you help me? I was calling for your help." She's like, "What? What happened? What happened?" Right? And then you realize, "Jeez, that's just some nightmare I have." So then you think, okay, this is Nightmare M Street. It's like over and over. And you guys know what? Even though in my bedroom we go to bed together, my wife was laying next to me. She was lying next to me, and I was sleep over here. Nothing going on. We go to sleep, and then that spirit came. There was a couple of times that it was so funny how it would transform into a beautiful woman. Okay, and I know many times it transformed into this fucking beautiful blonde chick and just went on top of me. It raped me, tortured me, raped me. And I right, I fought, I wake up, and then I was like, appreciate it, young blondie, why you rape me. And then I was like, fuck, maybe I watched too much porn, and those pornography just came over me, right? Okay, so when I was in Cali, I dated a couple Latino girls in the community that we live, and we come mess around. And you know, I slept with a couple of these white girls back in the high school in the back of my little pickup. And then I thought bad about it. I was like, maybe those girls died and they became spirit, and then they come and visit me or something. The spirit came over me, whatever. I that's all messed up in my brain in the time at the time when me and my wife were living in this apartment. So it was going on, guys, sporadically every other night, and then suddenly a couple times during the day, and then almost every day in my life, and I was afraid. I mean, afraid. I I I didn't want to go to sleep. I didn't want to close my eyes, guys. Pretty much, you watch the movie of Freddy Krueger, Nightmare Elm Street. It was like that. That kind of feeling, guys. I don't know if I'm trying to tell you here, but if you never experienced this shit in your life, yeah, man, you're like, oh man, that guy's lying. Black Panther, you're lying. You don't believe you. You're telling story, but you know what? It was real, guys. It was real. It was scary. And then we decided these needed to be stopped. So we called this shaman come over to the apartment, and we live in the complex, like 30 units complex. And then we had this old lady shaman came to the apartment. She had this drum, and this what do you call it? I don't know. Shaman has this shishing, 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 dong, 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 shishing, shishing, dong, dong, and work on the whole neighborhood, the apartments, because we're practicing shamanism, and we couldn't bring the animal, the pig, to the apartment because on the animals butchering not allowed. Technically, if you're in the back in Laos or you're in the farm, you can use an animal, and you have to bring the live animal to the house. Then have this rope, and connect the animal to the sick person sitting there, and the shaman will go bong 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 bong, shishing shishing shishing, bong 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 around the sick, and try to scare the spare away. Boom, and they say all these words, building this wall, this ring, this protection territory, and kick the bad spirit out of the house, the person, even though the spirit got inside you, pull the spirit out of you, separated you between the bad spirit and the human form, and chase that away and say, take this cow, take this pig, take this dog, take this sheep. It's your payment. Stop borrowing this our son or daughter or this man or this woman, right? And then wake up the whole neighborhood. So people didn't like us at all. You know, you had 30, you were the number 30 neighbor that the other 29 neighbors, tenants that live in the apartment, waking them up in the morning, bang, 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 bang. And it's funny. I did, guys. I was shaman, and I wake up the whole 29 tenants in the neighborhood, in the apartment complex. Yeah, it's a comedy, guys. It's a comedy. Oh gosh, I think back, I was messed up. I should never have done that. You know, uh, it was like it was like shock and awe. Suddenly, the airplanes dropping bomb, ammunition bomb, gun cannons shooting in Iraq. Shock and awe. Saddam Hussein's like, whoa, hold on, what's going on? Saddam Hussein was like, got the shock and awe. All right. So anyway, that was one time. The shaman came, bless us, bless me, and we took a pig. We butchered the pig in the processing plant. The animal processing, the meat processing plant. We went there with a shaman, and I was there, and then the shaman like bless us, talking to the pig, say, hey, we're gonna take you home, and you'll be protecting this boy, this young man, and it is your job, and we'll get this money and we'll pay you. You're supposed to go to the other side and become a payment to the spirit, and don't take this sickness with you. But to do that, Mr. Pig will give you some money, paper money, and then we burn this paper money, this acid, and we give to the pig, and then the pig will take that payment, okay, and the pig will be willing to go to the other side, become a prisoner for you, as for me. So that pig took the payment spiritually, right? So we took the pig, we killed the pig down there. We ate the meat, and then we gave the pig a peaceful time. We ate his body, his meat, but he has a spirit that he went and did his job because we bought him out. For all the pigs, we took him, we bought him, we paid for his meat, and we gave him paper money and burned the acid and blessed him. Now you are the hero, Mr. Pig. You are the hero. you go to the other side, you go to prison for, and then release the spirit that the bad spirit took from this boy or this young man and brought it back, and then no longer you're supposed to be a wall between this spirit and him, protect him. And then we came back home, and the shaman do all these things to me, and then get this water, pong, and pong 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 pong, and chase all the bad spirit out of the house on that apartment unit. Doing it work, guys? What do you guys think? Do you think that works? Do do did I did didn't I came out free? Got rid of the bad spirit? Did I stop having nightmares? Like those sweating. Did those blondies? Did it stop come and rape me? And then on the night and during the day or whenever I close my eyes. Sometimes they even turn themselves into become my wife after they like I said in the beginning, it was just dark. You don't even see the face. It's like a shadow come out of the window. Then later on, it turned into these blondies, these blonde chicks, raping me. They sometimes also become a man raping me. Okay. And then later on, you know, when there was a blondie, I wasn't that mad when I wake up. Yeah, I appreciate it, blondie. Come back next time. Come back with your beautiful body and set on top of me and torture me, rape me any way you want. All right. But it became the man that came out of the window, stopped being on top of me. Yeah. I fought for my life. I fought, and sometimes if I can push the spirit away, and all those things. And a couple of times it transformed into my wife coming on top of me. But I was refusing in the dream, in the nightmares. And I was suddenly my wife was punching me and beat me up, and I wake up, I was like, hell no. And I was ready to punch my wife, and then like, oh, it was just a dream. It was just a dream, guys. A nightmare. Okay, so I asked, didn't work? No. Okay, you guys asked, did the bad spirit go away? No. No. So, then we talk more that, hey, the last time we sacrificed the pig, looks like the pig went to the other side. He ran away. He never went to prison. Looks like he realized we ate his meat, and then we didn't pay him enough. The paper money, the asset we burned to him, he probably ran off. He probably got lost along the way. He probably took the money and went gambling in the casino in the other side, and he never made it to the prison. My spirit was captured by the devil. All right. So then the lady said, "Oh, you know what? Maybe this time we'll do another one." So she came to our house, apartment. She had these humongous swords, right? These two swords. And after she blessing, I had to take 3 days off work because I need to stay in the house for 3 days. So she came and she had these red robes. So these days, if you ever go to you ever see a monk person with this claw, like a bracelets made, and they go around their wrist, and sometimes they get around their neck, like they're a slave or something around their arms. Okay, so I had to do that. That lady came by. She did all the her thing in the shaman's world, and then she had these red, bracelets made out of cloth and put on my wrist, and then one on my neck. It was so embarrassing, you know what I mean? Yeah, when I had that around, and I had to stay in the house for 3 days. can't even get out of the house, anything. You have to stay inside so that the bad spirit that's around the house, because she said this perimeter that okay, the devil cannot cross this. If it would cross, it would be burned. Like one of those like that movie Hellraiser, right? Hellraiser when the this guy was communicate to Satan on the other side, and he came out of the ground. They had this ring that had this star, right? And the Satan come out of the hole because he was called to come out. Okay, so I was surrounded by this perimeter inside the apartment, and this lady has these two nice swords crossing like this, on the door, right? That was the only exit and enter entrance and the exit. So yeah, she did that. My wife can go out in, but I cannot go out in. So you guys know in the Bible when Moses was trying to take the people out of Egypt, and the king said no, you cannot. And then he went talk to God, and God said, you go, and tonight, go tell all my people, and each family in the had to sacrifice an animal, the firstborn a male animal, and you had to set these two branches in front of your house, stained with the animal blood. So when I send the spirit tonight, it will avoid coming into your house, okay, and it will kill all the firstborn male sons of Egyptian sons, right? So Moses came back. Moses told his God's people, and they did that, and they were spared. Kind of like that, guys. So in my case, the shaman did that. So there's a little piece of that from the Bible, the Old Testament, and the yeah, the shaman did that to me, and I was supposedly protected. And for 3 days, and she came back and do her thing, and I suppose we healed, but you know what? Didn't work. No, that uh, those 3 days it worked. I didn't have nightmare or anything. Then after she came back and the other thing, she walked away. And the next day, that spirit came back, crawling out of the window, raping me, torturing me, anyway, all kind of forms, you know. So me and my wife, I was not able to sleep. I was scared. I was getting skinnier and skinnier because I was afraid. I had a little less sleep. I became stressed. Very stressful life. And we decided that we need to move out. And, we consult with the shaman, and the shaman say yes, maybe that spirit, knows the house, and that it follows you all the way from Cali. And then I told her the story about my brother used to have that in them, and she then said, maybe that was a spirit that was taking over your brother, and when you went, you switch room and you sleep in his room, that spirit, you know, didn't find your brother, and then he found you. He found you, and then when you move away, maybe you didn't silently move, and you just telling that you're gonna go to somewhere, and then the spirit follow you all the way to Minnesota, okay, Minnesota, and follow you around, and now you got his spirit. You got his whatever that curse that he had. So that shaman told us that yes, if you move out of the house, tell before you move out, you move all your stuff out, and then before you move out, you walk out of the door. This is what you said: Spirit of the house, spirit of the guardians, spirit of the whatever, stay in the house, guard the place. We'll be back. We're going to visit our relative in California or whatever state they're in. we'll be back. Don't let the spirit know that you would you going somewhere because it will follow you, right? So me and my wife decided to move the next month. We, we moved our stuff. We didn't have much at the time, just like a couple chair, couch, a mattress, some, utensil, cooking utensils, our clothes. So we already, contract lease an apartment somewhere out in the town, and then we come to live in the house. And one day, each day we pack little things without saying any word, and we just took into the new apartment and we set it there. And then the week before we go, we took our bed, our couch, and then we came back sleep in the apartment, just on the floor, and a blanket, a pillows. And then the next day, we like before we walk out the door and go and went to the the rental office and get surrender the keys. We yeah, we say that we going to visit our relative or be back, and bad spirit remain stay in the house. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere. We love you. We like you. Stay here, okay? And we moved out without even telling saying that we're moving out. So we locked the door and we went to the rental office. We already had the key set in this envelope, handed to the officer, the renter, the person that attendance in the office, the landlord, as she said. So we got then we moved to the new apartment, and I don't know whichever heels. We got there, and then like a week later, we were approached by this relative. They're Christian, so then we decided to convert into Christianity again. From my bringing my wife, myself back to Christianity, and we had the relative plus other member of the church, the priest, the pastor. They came to our apartment, and they're blasting, and they sing these songs, and then they separate us from shamanism and took us away from our ancestors' spirit and kicked them out of the house, kick everything out, clear out, and then release us from hell, and bring us to know God. And they're reading the Bible, and then, yeah, do their things, and then they left. Uh, ever since, okay, guys, ever since then, I never had another dream, another nightmare. I had good sleep, and that thing never came back. And I've been living the last. This is like this is like 1995. So ever since 1996 until now, I no longer had these nightmares. Okay, these nightmares that I had back in the days since I was 18 until I was 90 96. I was like almost 27, 26, whatever. So, yeah, I just want to share this nightmare that Elm Street, this nightmare Elm Street that I experienced. This thing that I endure since I was 18 all the way till that was almost like 9, 10 years in my life. And that because I was shaman, I was worship my ancestors, the spirit, them, not the devil, but worshiping them, asking them for guidance, and so I didn't know. It wasn't because I moved out of the house silently like the lady told us, or was it because me and my wife converted back to Christianity for real, and we start believing the Lord and asking for guidance and protection and all those things. And that spirit, God pushed that shit away, that thing away, and never came back or whatever. But I was here. I was here since then, and never had any other issue until these days, and hopefully gone forever. Cause so I'm a happy Christian now, and I didn't get to sacrifice an animal. I didn't have to pong 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 scare the neighbors, and pay them do all those things. So it's a good morning, and I want to share this story with you guys. Just remember my channel here, Black Panther and the Princess. These are the kind of story I would tell. I would be telling you, or sometime like a video. So you guys know my last video. I went to the cemetery. I talk about this haunted house. Okay, please watch that. And these are the kind of story on this kind of talks that I try to make on my contents and communicate with you when I come live. And when I do video, I bring the contents to you so you can watch, enjoy the time. When I come out live, I kind of like to communicate, kind of like you guys are there supporting me, and I'm communicating with you my experience or any story that I was told or they're told to me or anything like that. And I am so appreciated that you guys spend the whole hours listening to my, you know, I don't know, my shit. Okay, so have a peaceful day, guys. It's a very beautiful day outside, so I'm gonna go outside and maybe see if I can go shoot a video today. Uh, this time I'm planning to go to this old house that from the '90s when I first came up here to Minnesota, and it's in the south side of Minneapolis. And this haunted house where my buddies, my old friends, they were just came out of high school. They moved into this house. It was rent cheap, and then when they got into the house, they went to bed, healthy. But then when they wake up every morning, they will have like sprained ankle, arm. They have back pain. They had, and they couldn't walk. So I'm gonna go to the house, and it's I don't know if it's still there because I haven't changed construction, things like that, and I'm gonna see, and that house still remains, and I take video and photo, and I'm gonna tell you guys the whole thing again. Okay, appreciate it, Queenstone. Thank you for putting a couple comments here. Okay, and I'm gonna see you next video or next live. Okay. Thank you. Good day, okay?